Hi, do you know who Tom Sawyer and Becky Thatcher are? Even though I didn't read the books by Mark Twain, I know who they are, and I'll bet you do too. I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70, and today I'm going to take you to Hannibal, Missouri, where Samuel Clemens, also known as Mark Twain, grew up and wrote his famous books. Recently, I took a riverboat cruise on American Cruise Lines to the upper Mississippi River. One of the stops was in Hannibal, Missouri. Hannibal has a population of 16,809. The Mark Twain Boyhood Home and Museum is where the famous writer grew up. As we got off the American Serenade in Hannibal, we were greeted by Tom and Becky themselves. They were so cute. The Tom and Becky program is an annual selection process that takes place every year in Hannibal for 7th grade students. They compete to portray Becky Thatcher and Tom Sawyer through a series of applications, interviews, speeches, written tests, and performances. A panel of judges evaluates the candidates on personality, knowledge of the characters and town, and their ability to interact with the public. Winners are announced each year in July during National Tom Sawyer Days. Next, we headed toward the Mark Twain Museum, which is a series of buildings that have been preserved. This is where Mark Twain spent much of his childhood dreaming up stories and characters that one day would become famous literary figures. The museum also contains some of Twain's personal belongings, such as his writing chair and desk, which give a glimpse into his life. Entering the Mark Twain Boyhood Home and Museum, we're going to start our self-tour here. Growing up in Hannibal was not easy for Mark Twain. His early years were marked by hardship and loss, including the death of his father when he was just 11 years old. This event forced him to drop out of school to support his family. These challenges, however, would become an inspiration for his writing. Twain's experiences as a young man, such as typesetter, steamboat pilot, and even a prospector, gave him a unique perspective on life and helped shape his writing style. His observations of people and places around him would eventually find their way into his stories, making his writing relatable and authentic. Mark Twain's legacy continues to inspire writers and readers to this day, and his childhood home in Hannibal remains a fascinating glimpse into the life of this literary giant. We also took a 1-hour sightseeing cruise on the Mark Twain riverboat. It had a commentary, and we were lucky enough to get an alcove, a little special private area where we had seating and a table from which to observe the river. This is a family-owned business, and the owner and Captain Steve, was on board for us. They offer dinner cruises, but that's not what we took. We just took the 1-hour sightseeing cruise. I will say the ship is rather old. It's well worn, let's just say that. I enjoyed the tour, but I don't think it was essential to take because of the fact that we were already on a riverboat for 9 days going up the Mississippi River. So honestly, we really didn't see anything new by being on this smaller riverboat. We also visited the Hawkins House. This is the Hawkins House in Hannibal, Missouri. It was built in 1897, and it's the home of the woman who inspired the Becky Thatcher character in the Tom Sawyer books. She lived here in the latter part of her life, and this is where she passed away. Beautiful home. It's been reconstructed to look like it did in their time. The current owners have restored it, and it looks very much like it did in the time of Sarah Hawkins. They've also added a wonderful secret tea garden in the backyard. Heading down into the tea garden behind the house. The houses were very close together, but they had this beautiful garden in the back, and it's huge. My goodness. It goes all the way over to this side. And then over here, just amazingly large. So here's the tea garden in the back, and they're serving us beverages. I don't know exactly what it is, but I hope it's not hot tea because it's really hot today. If you're a fan of Mark Twain, I'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite Mark Twain book is. If you enjoyed this video, I have many more videos in my cruising and travel playlist of both riverboats and larger cruise ships. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Have a great day.